Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Yahleal in this incarnation. And yesterday at night, July 13th, the moon entered Pisces. And for the first time in our lives, we experimented a square with Uranus in Gemini. I am mentioning this because some people could have insomnia or could have experimented certain unusual events. And because it was a tension, it could be an experience, an uncomfortable experience, perhaps, that occurs as a signal of what we need to detach, what we need to detach from, decisions of change. But also, this could be linked with radical impulses that are not contributing. I mean, acting from overwhelming emotions because we want to change or because we want to liberate ourselves from something, but doing that from a place of control or from escapism of oneself, because Uranus is also connecting with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius and Neptune retrograde in Aries. And well, these things could have its consequences later, because Uranus also is creating a sextile with Saturn in Aries, that it have just became retrograde, and its energy is still very strong. So even though I am mentioning this, the contacts with the between the transpersonal planets are harmonic, but we could perceive activations of tension, like in this case the moon, as manifestations a little bit unstable or challenging. But it is very important to come back, to the understanding that everything is occurring to open this period of new possibilities of greater elevation for our individual and collective life. It is just that depends on us, the disposition to integrate what is happening, to turn ourselves more aware of ourselves, and to take decisions in coherence along the way, trusting that each step is actually building the new. Then I wanted to talk about another aspect that I didn't mention yesterday, but it is also because it is also perfected the next week, but it's active from now, since now. So Venus is in Gemini. Venus, desires of the soul, relationships, the value that we give to ourselves, the resources that we have, activating a square with Mars in Virgo. Mars is the action that we take for what we desire, the initiatives, and how we are managing our aggressiveness. And well, they are walking in mathematical degrees of each sign, creating this aspect of 90 degrees. And well, it is going to be perfected later. What happens is that at the half of this week, Mars is going to activate the South Node. I told you about this yesterday. Lunar nodes, Pisces, Virgo. South node is the point of cleansing of limited patterns, and North node is the energy, the evolutionary energy to integrate it, to make a summary of this. And well, the next week, Venus, it is not only perfect the tension with Mars, but also it is going to be in tension with the nodes. So this is going to create a T square, a mutable T square, which in the end impacts all the mutable signs, because Sagittarius is there in opposition, to whatever thing is in Gemini. So, well, we when we have tensions between Venus and Mars, this could be traduced in situations that bring a challenge to move forward. If this is about a project in a relationship, remember that Venus, it is not only about couples, about romantic love. It is also societies and relationships one-to-one that are linked with the house in which we have Gemini in our natal chart. So there could be disagreement with Venus in Gemini. We could talk about different kind of thoughts, problems of communication that are showing us the need of doing different moves, of correcting something, because Mars in Virgo, it is very linked with this. Perhaps it is about the way that we are communicating. This involves knowing how to listen. We cannot, communicate in an assertive way if we are not listening to other people. There could be these points of I don't know the word right now, but these conflicts because of the excessive criticism, projections, and all of this can be solved if the parts are taking the responsibility for what they need. Each one of them has to rectificate. So this is also about creating discernment of what is really working and what is not. But also, this could be a situation that is showing the point in which we cannot continue moving forward in that relationship, in that society, etc. So each one of us has to be honest with oneself. And if we talk about an individual process, this could be linked with having to make a decision, but we have to reconcile inwards, because the mind could be generating this fragmentation in resistance to a path that the soul needs to go through. So when we talk about Venus in Gemini and Mars in Virgo, this could be linked with having many ideas. This is more linked with Venus and Gemini. Two mental focuses, and not all of them very useful. And they are operating as a distraction, overthinking, or over-analyzing. This is more linked with Mars in Virgo, and being paralyzed in that circuit. Could be linked with what I was commenting yesterday, not accomplishing that idealization of perfection, fear of making mistakes or to fail, as a mechanism that also prevents us from moving forward. So even if this is not about a situation in a relationship specifically, because Venus is also about our resources and the paths that we want to take to learn new things, could be that other people are reflecting through conflicts those inner oppositions. So now we have to add the thing with the lunar nodes, because with Mars we feel again the activation this week, but with Venus the next week, but they are linked. And what this is saying to us, what this is speaking to us, is that necessarily it needs to be a movement that we didn't apply before. This is about approaching the situation in a different way from what we know. Every square with the nodes, it is implying letting go of an old pattern to apply this new way of inhabiting reality, an evolutionary way. So the greatest challenge with the North Node in Pisces, I always remind you that North Node, it is a point of integration that is taking us to the next level, but it is discomfortable. It brings discomfort. So North Node in Pisces, it is about trusting in what we don't see, but we feel intuitively. It is about surrendering to a path in which we couldn't have all the plans with clarity. We are not seeing the whole plan with clarity. Accepting what we are experimenting, and understanding that is taking us where the soul wants to go, even though it is not fitting among our logics and mental planes too. Mental plans too, not planes. And Venus in Gemini and Mars in Virgo could also involve excess of mind, because these two signs are ruled by Mercury, that is about to be retrograde. We are also feeling the stationary movement. These two planets are responding to Mercury in Leo, therefore things linked with recognition, external validation, that at the same time are connected with the way that we are cultivating our self-esteem, are also shown. So what is important in here is to descend to the body, descend to the earth, regulate the excess of social media as a distraction to not deal with what it is. This is one of the greatest problems that we have nowadays. And descending to the body is inhabiting oneself. It is movement. It is, eating with awareness. And also put the focus in punctual actions that we could exercise in the plane of matter. Because, many times people are only just thinking about the possibilities in the future, and they are convincing themselves that they are doing something, but truly not. That is a mental illusion. So even if it brings uncertainty, this integration of the North Node in Pisces, it is important to choose. Well, if we would have, Mars in another sign, I would tell you that it is important to regulate impulsivity, but Mars in Virgo doesn't have this tendency. It is more like analyzing everything or over-analyzing. And Mars in Virgo could be impulsive. This is the shadow at the time that is making a criticism, or with things that are threatening the system of thought. Well, everything is happening in mutable signs, therefore mental flexibility, in the face of the changes, learning to take ourselves to flow with the processes, and also having in account that the other polarity could be like changing of mind constantly. This is very, very Venus in Gemini, like I'm going to go that way, no, that way, no, that way. And this also would be a pattern that keeps us in a place where we aren't taking any path. We aren't making a decision again. So thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.